So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. So my name is Colin Roth, and today we're going to be going over the 10 mistakes you could be making with your email marketing. I want everyone to stick around afterward, and I would love to talk on an individual basis and find a little bit more about some marketing troubles you're having, whether it be email, print, or whatever. I love marketing. I love to talk about it. So who is Colin Roth? A little bit existential, but we'll get into it. I am a digital marketing manager at ASI. I handle mostly our digital products, so Email Express, supplier specials, anything like that. So I think it said on my bio on that welcome screen, I'm an expert. I wouldn't venture it to be that much. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I know a lot about it. I love talking about it. So we're going to start with mistake one, hop right into it, okay? And this actually was my first mistake when I started doing marketing, especially with emails, was I would just send the email to everybody, and I wouldn't kind of take into account who to send it to. So that's our first one, is to make sure that you don't send it to everybody. Here are two examples of emails that I've gotten. One is from Uber, and then one is actually that we did. So Uber's sending me a ride receipt. This is obviously hyper-targeted. No one else is going to get this except for me. It's going out to a very specific individual. It has a lot of useful information that's pertinent to me. And then what we did for an ASI email was we took our ASI show, and right now this is for suppliers who want to get a tour of the show floor, and we only sent it out to ASI show people, ASI supplier prospects within a 200-mile radius of Long Beach. And now that's a smaller list. Obviously, we're not sending it out to our large database. We're sending it to a lot fewer amount of people. But we actually had a 3 times higher response rate than our average drip email. And that's because it was so targeted. It was pertinent to exactly what those people were looking for. So the simple fix for this, know your audience. This is the critical part, is understanding what they want and how they're going to consume the content. Use segmentation, and that's our easy fix, is really try to hone in on the people you're trying to get your content out to or get your promotional product out to. So we really want to focus on sending those emails to those right distributors. And then another simple fix is let supplier specials help. Supplier specials is trigger marketing, so it's extremely targeted email marketing directly to the person who viewed your product. So basically, our open rate average for that is about 62%, which is extremely high. And why it's so high is because those people are interested in those products. They've shown interest, so they want more content. Our next one ties right into it. It's sending irrelevant emails. I also am guilty of this, and I know it seems really easy. It seems like, oh, well, that's obvious. I want to send relevant emails. But as you'll see from my inbox, a lot of marketers don't do that. So this is an email from Red Shark, and I don't know who Red Shark is. I've never heard of Red Shark. I've never bought this product, and I have no idea how they'll help me. And they are soliciting me emails. And what's funny is this morning when I was on the train to work, I got an email from a women's perfume manufacturer, and I'm not a woman, so it wasn't a good email. But that's the point, is if you're going to invest in email marketing, you really have to think about the people who you're targeting and how they're going to receive your emails. So this is how we're going to fix this. You need to address the problem. You need to figure out what's going on, how you can fix it. And then the second thing is you need to start to describe in detail what's the audience you want to target. So if I want to target, if I'm a supplier selling to distributors and I want to target distributors selling in healthcare, I want to make sure that I'm using a list that's targeted to healthcare. And that's really where Email Express also can come in and out. Email Express, we have lists that target certain niches, whether that be in the green industry or just Canadian suppliers or distributors, excuse me. So the point being is that there are easy ways to do this, and there are simple fixes. And if you just put in a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, they're definitely achievable. And our third one awesome, awesome content. We're lucky enough on our team where we have one person in charge of just supplying our entire department with good content. And the buzzword of 2014 for marketing was content marketing. And the reason why is because it works. Plain and simple, people are attracted to content. So here are 2 more emails from my inbox. And I'll do my shameless, you guys can follow me on Twitter at I am Colin Roth. And what we have is really, really engaging content from both these emails. We'll start with the email on the left, which is from Buffer. And if you look, the copy says, here are 3 new post suggestions for you. Hit add to Buffer to keep on your social accounts. And there's a link right there that allows me to add it right to my Buffer account. And this is super engaging copy, and me as a user, I know exactly what I need to do next. Oh, I need to add this to my content marketing to improve this. So it's extremely valuable for me. Some other good stuff is there's a nice little picture of Joel from the Buffer team. So I know I'm talking to a human. It's not a robot. I'm talking to someone. If you can see on the bottom here, there's some great PS copy that's very cute and very playful. It's extremely important to have that. And if we look at the email from the right, that's from Vero. This is another email marketing service. And there's a lot of great things I like about this email. One, it has an amazing subject line. Our latest epic guide to 50 must-read marketing blogs. And that just, it instantly hooked me in. I instantly opened that. That's relevant content. I'm an email marketer. I want to know the 50 must-read blogs. It has a nice personal touch with Chris. He gives his Twitter address. And then this nice PS at the end. So to give me more content. And the huge thing here is that they're nourishing a relationship and that they're looking to engage and educate the user, which is me in this case. Actually, if you flip through, yeah. So the simple fix to get your emails to get more clicks, more engagement, is to be human. That's the best answer I have to that. Is whenever someone asks me, like, how can I get more clicks or how can I get more open? If you're human, they will engage with your emails more than anything in the world. Don't act like a robot. Act like a human. Educate them. Show them what to do. Do what Buffer did. Add this to Buffer. That's a great example of how to nourish a relationship. And then give solid advice. Educate them, like what Vero does and like what Rachel does here at ASI with educating our suppliers. Number 4, underestimating the importance of a great subject line. Now this is by far my favorite point. I love subject lines. And I think it's much more important than people think, the value of a good subject line. And we're going to get a little go back to biology class, the anatomy. We're going to break it down, the anatomy of a subject line, because it's changed. In the last handful of years, the subject line has changed. It's no longer just a subject line. It's actually, you can see this from Gmail. There's a from field, the actual subject line, and the pretext. And all 3 of these comprise of a great subject line. So the from field, there's actually a couple cool tricks which I like to do. You can do your name from your company. So I do Colin from ASI. And that's a great way to introduce yourself. A lot of people don't know Colin Roth. A lot of people know ASI. And if I can make my from field more human and look like Colin from ASI, it helps with that open rate. It helps connect with that user on a much more tangible level, if you will. And the actual subject line, that's an important part. A lot of people kind of shrug the subject line to the side. Oh, it's all about the content of the email. But the subject line is so important. I equate it to, it's very similar to like when a journalist would write a headline for an article. They say that's the most important part because that's what everyone reads. So the journalist normally writes about 10 headlines, and then they pick the best one. And I recommend you do that with your subject lines. I do that for all my ASI emails, is I write down 10 ideas, and then I kind of figure out the best one. I go through it in my head, and it works great. This pretext is something that's interesting. So in these new browsers, what they'll do is these new email services, they'll pick up the first, I think it's 50 or 100 characters in the email, and they'll display them. And it's a great way to kind of show what's going on. So you can see in this BuzzFeed, you have BuzzFeed animals, step up your game, these dogs have a challenge. So right in there, I have so much information that is way beyond just using a from field, a subject line, a from field and a subject line. I know what's going to be in the email. I know if it relates to me, and then I can instantly engage with it depending on it. And I mean, BuzzFeed does a really good job with their email marketing. I would recommend you subscribe. As bad as their articles might be, they have a lot of extremely good content and subject lines and pretext to really model off of. So the simple fix for this, change it up. I test a subject line in almost every email I send. I think it's a great test. You can instantly see results with your open rates, and it's something that's fun. I mean, I like to have fun with the subject line. I like to do puns from the 80s, and I think it's the most fun you can have in the email. Give a sneak peek. You're and like we talked about in the pretext, like show them what's going to be in that email. If you're more accurate with the user, you'll see your clicks go up, you'll see your open rates go up. Everything will start to increase if you become more human with that user. Next thing we have is underestimating the power of a strong call to action. The new thing with digital marketing is it's more than just a button at this stage. It's no longer can you just do click here or have a bunch of flashing lights. The call to action is now a critical part to moving people to your products, to get them to view your promotional products, to get those distributors to see your products. You have to have a unique, strong call to action. And here are two examples from my inbox. The one on the left is actually from an email service, and there's no call to action. Now, they say there's an update. We're updating the SendGrid customer portal, and that's fine and dandy, but if I want to read more, I don't know where to go. And that's huge. And again, I am extremely guilty of this at ASI, everywhere, of sending stuff, sending emails and not having a call to action, not sending the user somewhere valuable. So it's interesting to look at this. And again, the SendGrid is an email service, and they don't even use call to action. So it's important to incorporate this in all of your campaigns. Now, you look at the email on the right from Treehouse. First off, let's note the subject line. Your teacher misses you. That's a great subject line. And their sender is Treehouse loves Colin. That's probably the most inviting from field and subject line I've ever seen. But what's important is this first copy of them recommending me what to do today. It then is basically it's an online coding school, and they're trying to get to re-engage me, trying to get me to view their product more. So what they're saying here is we recommend you work on this product, and then the call to action is resumed. The call to action is not just click here; it's actually authoritative. It's what do you want to do next? I want to resume, and I want to get into what's going on. So that's a great example of an easy way for you guys to increase clicks, is to simply just change up your call to action, change up your button, make it inviting. Say things like get the hottest tote bag, get this, get that, get is much better than click here. There's a lot of good examples. So we want to provide the essential information in our CTAs. You have to be quick. You can't make the biggest button possible. So you have to kind of get in, get out. You want to use clear and easy to see CTAs. The best example, again, and we'll go back to it, is this Treehouse one. This resume is in a bunch of white space. It's an empty field. I know it's a button. It looks like a button, and it has that inviting copy that's simple. It's digestible. I know what resume means when I look at it. I know what I'm going to get myself into. So the next thing is when you have an email and you have a great CTA, you have a great subject line, everyone's looking at it, but now you're sending everyone to the home page. You're not actually sending them to a targeted landing page. And this is actually important for all digital advertising. In Google now, if you want to advertise with Google, you have to send them to a targeted landing page. You can't just send them to your home page. So here are two examples of landing pages. One is an ASI one that I created, and another one is a Spanish marketing blog, which I can't read Spanish, so I don't know what it says. But what's interesting is that according to HubSpot, companies with 40 or more landing pages can generate 12 times the amount of leads than those with 5 or less. 12 times the amount of leads if you have 40 or more landing pages. Targeted landing pages describing what you do. And that's amazing. That's one of those eye-opening stats that kind of want to push you there. But the other thing to be cautious of on a landing page is overwhelming the user. You only need one offer. If you provide them with multiple offers, according to Marketing Experts, which is a blog, if you offer a user multiple offers, the conversions decrease by 266%. So it's crucial that you're informative and you have all this information, but that also you don't overwhelm them. You want to just send them the one thing. Send them, if they're searching, if you have supplier special set up and someone searches for your mug and they click on your mug and they're coming back, send them a product, but try to only focus on one product at a time, or at least have the email structured where it's focusing on one product or one offer at a time, and it's not just offers all over the place. So, like we said, don't want to use jargon in your emails. You want to have clear communication on your landing pages and your emails everywhere, but especially on your landing pages, because this is when the sale is going to happen. This is when you're going to be able to convert somebody. If you don't use any jargon, don't try to confuse them. Don't try to sound smart. You'll never sound smart. I do that a lot too, and you probably noticed that in this webinar. But ultimately, landing pages work, and you can leverage landing pages in any way you want. I'd be more than happy to walk anyone in this webinar through how to build one, how to execute one. It's a crucial part in marketing in 2015, 2016, and so on. So I would be more than willing to help anybody set that up. Point 7, not reviewing your data. I'm going to admit, I love data. And what I love more than data is I love preparing for my monthly reporting meeting with my team. I love diving in, seeing what I did, seeing my crazy ideas, seeing if they worked, and I love kind of trying to figure that out and bouncing it off my team. I do have a lot of fun with that. So I'm actually going to show a graph of an A/B test that I ran at ASI a couple weeks ago. This was, of course, a subject line test because that's my favorite thing to do. So what we wanted to test was Colin from ASI versus ASI supplier marketing. So what we wanted to do is see how that would affect open rates and then how that would affect our marketing funnel down the trail. So obviously the blue represents Colin from ASI. So I was like, oh, Colin from ASI got a great open rate, much better than ASI supplier marketing. But what's funny is that ASI supplier marketing, which is this green bar, then outproduces Colin from supplier marketing, or Colin from ASI, excuse me. So why? Why would that happen? Why would my human-friendly Colin from ASI not work? And I think what we found was it was pretty simple. We were upfront with the user. We said that this was going to be a marketing email, and then they were more willing to click through. They were more willing to then convert into something, which is interesting. If you look, I mean, this is astounding. It's a 2 times conversion factor. So what's important and why this is so important for not doing is it's so important to test. It's so important to review your data. You should at least try. I'm not going to say you should. You should try at least one test for every email. And that's why I like the subject lines. It's so easy to test. I can send half my list, Colin from ASI. I can send my other half of the list, ASI supplier marketing. And they're so easy to test, and it's so much fun to do. You then have to check your reports. You can't just do the test. You got to check it. You got to discuss those reports to your team. I actually love talking with my team about the crazy tests that we're trying, the crazy things that our marketing department's trying, and then trying to build on that. It's a lot of fun to kind of bounce ideas off each other. The other simple fix is that ASI actually tracks all of this for you. Our ROI reports are in-depth, and they cover your open rates, your clicks, and all of that. And again, if anyone wants me to help them with understand their ROI report or wants to speak to someone, I can facilitate that for you. I'd love to talk about data. It's my favorite thing to do, along with subject lines. So then the other half of that is not optimizing your marketing campaigns after your A/B test. So I got my data, but now what do I have to do with it? Now I have it, what do I got to do with it? So this is a nice graph from Hitton Shaw that kind of shows how we're going to work with this data, how we're going to do it, and what to work on after you collected your test. So if you have high traffic and high conversions, congratulations, go get a drink, do a happy dance, but watch what's happening. Don't change anything yet. If you have really high traffic, so you get a lot of clicks, but you're not getting a lot of sales on your emails, you got to try to do some A/B testing and increase your conversions. And that could be anything from just, hey, here's a burst offer. Hey, here's not a burst offer. Testing something like that to see how your sales increase. If you have low conversions and low traffic, you need to get more traffic. You need if you're sending an email out to only 1,000 people and you're not seeing a lot of sales, you got to try to increase your mailing list. You got to use something like Email Express and do a massive blast and talk about what you're doing. And then if you have low traffic and high conversions, you still need to get more traffic so that you can do a happy dance. Because if you're getting really high conversions and not a lot of traffic, you're doing something right. So you need to try to drive more traffic. Another suggestion is to just do an email marketing blast, whether it's your own list or with Email Express, but you need to try to get the word out. So the simple fix, change it up. Try something different, try something new. You got to learn from your tests, though. Again, to the point with our internal information, if we didn't look at the whole test, if we didn't look at all the data, we wouldn't have known that, oh, okay, if we use ASI supplier marketing, it actually increases our conversions. So the important part is that you need to look at all the data. Don't just look at if the subject line increase in open rate. Don't just look at if a call to action increased your clicks. You have to look at the whole spectrum, and that's what's important, is looking at a big picture. So 9, the issue of email deliverability. So this is something that's overlooked in a lot of email marketing firms and a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you an email from my inbox. So this is something from 1 Month, which is another coding school, but it's reputable. They have high quality emails, but what's funny is this got flagged as spam. And it's not because of they had a bad IP. It's not because that. It was just because the content in the message was flaky. And again, Google's warning me, be careful with this message. It contains content that's used to steal personal information. So you have to be careful about what you're emailing, how you're emailing, and how to improve upon it. The nice thing about ASI is we actually take care of this for you. Part of Email Express is managing our list. We take great pride in how our list performs and that the content is, the list quality is up to our standards, which is extremely high. We want to make sure that all of our emails get delivered. So we scrub our list constantly. You should scrub your list too. If emails are bouncing, if you're sending out a list or an email to 10,000 people and only 2,000 people got it delivered, you have to figure out what's going on. And again, in your reporting, look for the list size versus the number of emails sent, and that'll tell you how much is getting kind of in the black hole of the spam folder. So it's really important to scrub your list, check out what's going out, keep an eye out, really check check your ROI report, check with your email service provider, find out what's going on, how you can improve it. And then you come to a close for the 10th one. Making email a standalone. Now, a lot of people don't realize they think they can just do an email blast and be done with it. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. This is a chart from Marketo, which kind of explains how our new buying funnel works. Consumers need to be touched 7 to 13 times for a sale. Marketing needs to be more than an email. So your campaigns should have an email, it should be digital, it should be print, to ensure that distributors know what you're doing and what you're selling. If you are vague in any sense, if you're not looking if you're not looking to do more than email marketing, if you just want to do email marketing, it's not going to work. Because as you can see, you need to make sure that they're aware of your brand. They need to build intent, which is extremely hard to do just in email marketing. They need to have print. You need to have some digital advertising. So it's important to take all of those into consideration. So identify the channels that you want to attack. Create a marketing plan. Try to figure out what you want to do. And as always, you can talk with an ASI advisor. You can email me. You can talk to anybody and try to figure out how you can map out a strategy to work for your business and to explore all those channels and make sure that your brand is being recognized. It's tough. It's not an easy task. So that's all, folks. I will be taking some questions for the next half hour to try to help you guys out. So if you have questions, stay on, and we'll try to field them and get them answered. But thank you all very much, and I appreciate all of your time.